Our water Pokemon starts to the top right. He's starting for Team Startail. They just lost a Protoss player. They lost Party. He left the team. Now it's up to him to come through for his team. Will he be able to do it? He's starting in green, and his idea is
Startail Squirtle.
Yep, a new feature actually of the season is players allowed to pick what color they want every time.
a lot of Protoss players prefer green. Grubby prefers green. A few others as well. Mana, for example. Well, our Protoss player is up against the Terran. And this Terran player has chosen purple. At the bottom left of Cloud Kingdom, we have our MVP Terran player. Here's
MVP Dream.
Most of you guys don't know, but up until this season, usually Heaven, the Korean observer, who also hosts the lobbies, would tell the colors before the match started that they needed to be. To tell them, oh, you need to be blue, you need to be red, or whatever. But now, starting with this season, he actually asks both players what colors they would like, and so we have just a little bit more of a colorful 2013 starting out here.
If you talk about Dream and you talk about Squirtle, the first thing that really comes to mind is that Squirtle has a lot more experience in the GSL and also internationally. This guy was in the finals. He was in the finals against MVP. It was one of the best series that I've ever seen in my entire life. It was certainly the best Protoss versus Terran that I've ever seen. And it went through all 7 maps. And in the end, MVP won it with a double barracks play on Atlantis Spaceship. A great, great match, and Squirtle then fell a bit off grace. Now he's up against the Terran player. And in this matchup, he has a 60% win ratio. He's doing so-so, like a 50% in the last few weeks. But Dream with a lot less games played. And he has to prove himself here a little bit. He has the potential. We've seen it in the past. But I feel he's always a player where you don't really know what you'll get. Sometimes he shows incredible play, like crazy. And then the next day, you see him again, and he looks like a different person because he's a bit off. Yeah,
exactly. I couldn't agree more. He's one of our more inconsistent Terran players. And he actually used to be really known for his all-ins. He did a lot of all-ins. By the way, look at this probe over here. He not only hides it from the SCV, puts a pile on there. Looks like he was going to try to avoid the SCV, but either way, now the SCV is gone. But you know, Dream, known for his all-ins, then started playing a little bit different. Started getting a lot better at actually playing the late game, and I think, you know, I've talked about him before quite a bit. I remember I sat next to him on the plane going to MLG Spring Arena and talked to him quite a bit, and he did really well at that tournament. And just last time we saw him, he just looked so incredibly good at playing the mid to late game. By the way, Squirtle is choosing to do an all-in here.
Yeah, Squirtle is going now on is immediately for the Twilight Council. But one of the things that I wanted to point out before we go into the strategies is that Dream was the player that took down Rain. And at this point in time, SKT1's Rain was the Protoss player.
Yeah, everyone was talking about him.
The one player everyone was talking about, the one player everyone looked up to. And he met him in the first round of Code A, and the Dream was like, I don't care. I don't care who you are. And he smacked him down with a 2-0. Suddenly, Rain was back in Code B, and now it's another Protoss player that he's facing. And Squirtle goes for the Robo, for the Observer, wants to have the high ground vision here on Cloud Kingdom and Blink.
I want to note something really important, by the way, about what Squirtle is doing. He's got his Stalker at the third base patrolling to scout for SCVs. He's got this one out here as well now that it's done. But before this Stalker was done, he purposely had one probe constantly long-distance mining. He's actually still doing it at the natural. So that any time Dream had come over, he would have seen that probe at the natural and been like, oh, okay, you are going to make a Nexus. But now it looks like, I mean, he has no idea. He never saw the probe. But if he had seen it, he would have thought, oh, okay, there's going to be a Nexus. Not going to be some sort of all-in. But now he even killed the SCV with the Stalker. He's got total coverage. Another SCV is coming to scout. But Squirtle actually is, this time he's moving his Stalker away. The SCV may actually be able to come in here and see no Nexus.
Yeah, he might be able to make that work. And we saw yesterday what happens if a Terran player gets a glimpse of what's going on. We had this in on Abyssal City with MC up against Yoda, and now here comes the bunker on the high ground because Dream is in a position where he wants to be super safe. He actually used the scan, right?
I think he must have scanned and saw the Robo. He saw the Robo, but seeing the Robo alone at this timing leads him to believe he's going to be facing this Blink Stalker all in.
There's only one Marine in the bunker at the front, and okay, he sacks the position.
Yeah, he's lifting out. The Mule is on its way out too. And now the SCV sees everything in the main base. He's got Marauders in the bunker in the main, and this is just And all he has to do now is sit back and defend well. I think Squirtle should immediately start on Nexus here.
Really important is also that we have a double observer for Squirtle. So even if one is being picked off, he still has a second one. That's very important because you always need the high ground vision, and there's the Nexus. Squirtle analyzes the situation and he sees, alright, I probably won't be able to get up here. You already have a bunker in position. I can do a little bit of damage. I can poke here. I have Blink ready. Even supply blocking Dream now, but he makes the right decision. Cuts. I don't even want to say his losses. He's just making the right decision now at this point. Not completely all-inning, trying to block the high ground, the low ground, blocking this expansion, expanding my zone.
Exactly. It's the perfect choice to make. I really like that. We saw yesterday, MC on the other hand, was not willing to transition even after losing his observer. And this is still a very tough transition to make. Squirtle is still very much behind, but he's trying to make this work. He has his robotics tech out. That's where the observer comes into play. He's going to make sure not to lose that. He loses his aggressive foothold here. And he is going to have to leave fairly soon because those medevacs are coming out. Combat shields are going to be done soon. But he's stopped his opponent from mining at the natural, where he's going to be starting pretty soon. And I like what you said about cutting the losses, because that's basically what we're seeing.
What he really needs to pay attention to is the medivac timing. He knows this. The blink gives him a bit more mobility. He can get away here. But we have now the harvester count in favor of Squirtle. That's always where you want to be as a Protoss. His problem is that he's up against double command center, so double orbital. Therefore we have the mules. But he's blocking this natural expansion for as long as possible, and Dream can only mine from one mineral line. Well, Squirtle is now in a position where he can divide his probes, has a better saturation on those mineral patches. So Squirtle is actually in a really good spot here right now. If he gets this transition going, if he blocks him a little bit longer, maybe gets up a force field on the ramp, that would help him a lot.
Yeah, you know, he's actually got total coverage. I'm a little bit surprised he moved these stalkers.
Oh,
he can actually see this.
No, he's too far away.
Yeah, but he has totally contained Dream because he has the pylon, he's got Stalker to the south. There's actually nowhere that Dream can leave without Squirtle knowing about it, and he can actually just blink under the medevacs. He's got him totally contained. I've never seen someone actually contain this hardcore with Blink Stalkers.
It's a beautiful contain, and the great thing for him is that all these seconds, they count. Dream is losing so much precious time that he can't just afford. He's heavily supply-built. He's going into 3 supply depots now, and it's really a big problem for him because Squid is just getting farther ahead in the game.
Not only is he losing his ability to mine here, but he's going to lose his medevac. Look at this, he blinks under it, takes the medevac out. He's still got the force field at the front as well, and this is actually beautiful. We are seeing, I'm inspired. Look at this.
Definitely a great performance here by Squirtle.
He's not able to use his tech advantage. He can't mine from his natural. Squirtle has him contained harder than we have ever seen across the Terran. He picks off these 2 Mirage and force fields.
And look how beautiful he's macroing up behind this. He's still producing probes. He's already at 40, and he has the better saturation. Dream has 36 harvesters. The problem is they don't do him any good with 36 harvesters. He's completely oversaturated in his main base. He wants to have this many so that he can transition over into a double base, but he can't place the commands on a low ground.
Yeah, Squirtle's
it's crazy.
He's not even making a robotic support bay. We need a force field here, and we get it. But this is actually the time where Dream may be able to try to knock down some of these sentries. The Squirtle has had the micro perfectly, and so far so good.
The funnel works in favor of Squirtle. He plays it well, and even if he retreats, he did so much damage already. All the mining time that was lost.
92 to 69. He could actually fight here. He could actually fight here.
Squirtle is really showing some inspiring play here. He goes now into a transition, wants to have Colossi. That's of course the danger that you run if you are in this particular situation. That at some point the bio army of your opponent is getting too strong, you don't have area of effect damage, and he needs one. And that's why he goes into Colossi right now. Could also try to get into Storm, but Colossi is the weapon of choice, and now here comes Stream.
He's
dropping
totally
on the low ground.
Army. This isn't even all of Squirtle's army, that was 2/3 of it. Now the other part comes in from the right side, and he is just ending this game. We haven't seen Squirtle look like this in a long time, man, and I am happy to see it. He blinks into the main. He is ending it. This is over. We have never seen a contain like this before. This is just absolutely amazing. Everybody who does this type of contain leaves a few sentries. Eventually they're like, alright, medevacs are out. I'm not good enough with my multitask and macro and be able to stop with force fields and have vision of any place to put a medevac out. Until now, Squirtle has done it. GG.
Well played, well played. Squirtle with a great performance here. Takes his first win today on Cloud Kingdom. He's tied with Shine and with Tasia now. Really, really well done. I have to say that was awesome. And Dream is certainly impressed. He's looking at this and I'm like, well, this did not go as planned. Not at
No,
all.
it did not, man. That was actually, I'm actually freaking out a little bit. I was saying actually like 8 times because in reality, which is the synonym for actually in this case, we have never seen someone. He had an observer, he had a second observer, he had a pylon, and at the very bottom where there was one space where Dream could have maybe sneaked out, he had just one stalker, and it was close enough to where if he had tried to come out, he would have been able to leave just sentries to force seal the ramp, then bring his stalkers over. And I think Dream realized too late, because if he had realized before, he could have tried to draw some units over, then go like in 4 medevacs and jump out, but he couldn't actually out-multitask Squirtle there.
He could have dropped farther to the right.
Yeah.
There was only one stalker is not shooting down a medivac, so that was the one position where he could have dropped
if he put
earlier.
3 over those down there, there's no way Squirtle can stop him.
Yeah, he didn't. He tried to drop at the wrong position. Well, the wrong position. He realized it and saw, okay, if I actually try to drop here, then suddenly Squirtle will blink in. He could have tried at this point to blink at the right side, but then when the next round of warp in, suddenly there were more. I think there were like 4 or 5 stalkers even at the right side, and at this point he couldn't drop there anymore. So he can't get out without losing a few of his medivacs. Really well done by Squirtle, and he definitely surprised Dream with it. Dream did not expect Squirtle to linger around that long. He was like, okay, I have my medivacs out now, you're gonna back off, I can get my expansion, everything is still fine, and then he suddenly realized, well, you're actually sticking around. So, well played by Squirtle, takes the game. We're jumping into a 5-minute break, guys, after our first 3 matches, and then we are heading into the next game, which is going to be a Terran versus Terran with Happy versus Tasia. Stay tuned, and then we are back with the GSL up and downs.